Hi guys, I'm back again with Healing Through Christ, and I've been seeing something lately for the past, week or so. Can't be too long over a week. Basically, what people have been saying is that people have been comparing uh, the liberals' reaction to George Floyd's death to conservative reaction to Charlie Kirk's death, and how each reaction is very different. Saying that when someone on the left dies, or when someone like George Floyd dies, that's the name they actually compare. We get riots and looting and all that stuff, like what happened in 2020. Whereas when George Floyd dies, we get memorial services, vigils, all that stuff. So, so they're comparing in the reaction to George Floyd's death to the reaction to Charlie Kirk's death, and how different that they are. So I done some checking, and I saw a post that even mentioned that George Floyd and Charlie Kirk was both born on October 14th, but George Floyd was born in 1973, and Charlie Kirk was born in 1993. So I did some checking to kind of verify that, and it turned out that's true. So it turns out that George Floyd and Charlie Kirk share a same birthday, with George Floyd being 20 years older. So I decided to see if there was some kind of connection there, especially spiritually, with Charlie Kirk's assassination being so demonic and stuff. So I decided to check for a connection. So George Floyd was 20 years older than Charlie Kirk. There was a 20-year age gap. So I decided to look up what the number 20 meant in biblical numerology, and kind to find out, part of what it means, the number 20 means in biblical numerology, is a turning point, specifically in fulfillment of a divine purpose. So a turning point. Charlie Kirk was the CEO of Turning Point USA, and the number 20 can represent a turning point, more specifically a turning point in a divine purpose, in a fulfillment for a divine purpose. So I think that's very interesting, and the reason how I got the 20 is because George Floyd and Charlie Kirk are 20 years apart age difference, and people were comparing the different reactions between George Floyd's death and Charlie Kirk's death. When George Floyd died, we had riots in the streets and looting and vandalism and all that stuff through what is called Summer of Love for some strange reason. When Charlie Kirk passed away, when Charlie Kirk died, they held vigils, and there was no rioting and looting, none of that stuff. So people were comparing the difference. That's what gave me the idea to dig into this and see if there's something spiritual. That's when I found this. Like I said, they had the same birthday, October 14th. George Floyd was born October 14th, 1973. Charlie Kirk was born on October 14th, 1993. A 20-year age gap between George Floyd and Charlie Kirk. But when Charlie Kirk died, and when Charlie Kirk died, he did, and it was more peaceful, and it kind to find out that the number 20, like I said, is closely associated with was the turning point, part of what it means in biblical numerology, and Charlie Kirk was a co-founder of Turning Point USA. Okay? It's also very interesting to note that Charlie Kirk's co-founder, I forget his name, passed away in 2020 because Charlie Kirk has and someone else launched Turning Point together as co-founders, and the co-founder, who I believe I looked him up, and apparently he was Charlie Kirk's mentor, passed away in 2020. Again, that's where we see turning points. So part of what 20 represents in biblical numerology is a turning point in fulfillment in God's purpose, in divine purpose. Charlie Kirk was a co-founder and CEO of Turning Point USA. So yeah, that's how it all connects together. It is very interesting to think about. Yeah. That is it for this video. Bye.